DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? Dre Baldwin with DreAllDay.com. Getting into this week's motivation. This week's motivation is about sizing up challenges. Sizing up your problems and sizing up your challenges. What I mean, first of all, let me tell you why I'm talking about this. I was reading this book, one of my favorite books now. It's called Letters from a Stoic by this guy named Louis Seneca. If you've never heard of Seneca, he was I think he was Greek. But he was a philosopher, and the philosophy of Stoicism. Robert Greene's written about this. Ryan Holiday's written about it. Look these guys up. The philosophy of Stoicism is about taking everything that comes to you in life, everything that happens, and dealing with it without the roller coaster of emotions. Getting super happy about something or super sad about something. It's kind of being on that even keel emotionally, dealing with things that happen in life. Because most of the things that happen, a lot of things that happen in life, we can't control, like the weather and other people. We control ourselves, but a whole bunch of other stuff we have no control over. Even some things with ourselves we can't always control. So the reason I'm talking about this sizing situations up, explaining what that means, is looking at every situation that you deal with and understanding it really for what it is. And what happens with a lot of us, the reason that I bring up Stoicism, is that we get so emotional over things. We get too high on the highs and too low on the lows. We get fearful of things that can't do anything to us. We worry about stuff that's not even going to happen. We get anxious about things that don't have nothing to do with us. We all do that at different times. The key is catching yourself doing it, sizing up the situation that you're anxious about or fearful about or worried about or scared of or even getting super excited about. Sizing up the situation. Okay, this is what it really is. This is what could really go wrong. This guy, Tim Ferriss, who's an author some of y'all probably heard of, he talks about every time he would feel fear about doing something, what he would do is get out a pen and a pad and he would write down the exact things that he's afraid of, and then he would write down what could possibly go wrong. What are all the worst case scenarios of this thing that I'm afraid of? If it goes as bad as possible, what's the worst thing that could happen? And then he would write, if that worst thing does happen, what can I do to recover from it? What can I do to get back on my feet? What can I do to make sure, I don't die or get completely destroyed? How can I minimize this? Not minimize it, but how can I recover from this, rather, if things do go as terrible as they possibly could? Then he would look at that and he would say, okay, I'm not that afraid of it because I know exactly what I'll do if it's terrible. I know what the terrible is, and this is just the worst case. So imagine if it goes a little bit better than this, or twice as better than this, or it never turns out the worst case, then there was no problem in the first place. So sizing up your situations means looking at things as they truly are, laying it out exactly as it is, and looking at it and seeing, okay, this is not really as big as I'm making it out to be. I don't need to be that afraid of it. And even if it is as terrible as I think it could be, here's what I'll do to deal with it. That's what we're talking about when sizing things up. So next time you feel anxious, scared, nervous, worried, all you need to do is size up your situation, see where it is, see it as it is, see yourself as you are, see what you would do if it does go as bad as it possibly could, and then you'll know what to do about it. Then you don't have anything to be fearful, anxious, or worried about because you already know it's coming. That's the purpose of Stoicism, which Seneca always talks about, thinking on your death. Meditate about your death. Since every human being is going to die, that's the one thing we all got in common. The more you think about it and size it up and know that it's going to happen and know what you need to do to deal with it before you die, that is. You can't deal with it once you're dead. Once you know what you need to do to deal with it, coming from that sense of urgency that I talked about in last week's motivation, then when it's happening or when it's close, or if you think it's close, or you get a chance to actually know consciously, hey, I'm about to die, you're not that fearful of it. You're not that worried or anxious about it because you've already sized up the situation. Everybody have a great week. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.